Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure more people will be logging on and joining us and they can catch up, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I want to say thank you so much for joining us today on this info session webinar for Give Local York 2019. My name is Megan Given, and I'm the Executive Director of Give Local York. So we're going to be walking through some of the important details for Give Local this year, and then hopefully answering some questions for you. So before we get started, I am going to throw a quick poll up on your screen. So if you can, please go ahead and respond to that. I'd like to see how many of you who are joining us today attended in Give Local last year, and how many of you are new this year, and that will help me tailor our conversation just a little bit here. So we'll take just a couple seconds. It looks like about 75% of you are joining us from last year, so thank you and hello again. And about 25% of you are new this year, which is great, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. You'll get all of the information that you need regardless of if you participated last year or not. But if you did participate last year, we have some new and exciting things to talk about. So thank you for doing that. That is very helpful. So today, what we're going to go over, we're going to talk a little bit about what the heck is Give Local York. We'll go into how donations work on Give Day, talking about online giving and offline giving. We'll get into the fun business of stretch pool and prizes. We'll talk about what's new this year. I will walk you through the toolkit and all the training resources. Talk a little bit about what you and your organization will get out of participating, and then we'll get into some of the details about how you actually sign up and register. So I know it sounds like a lot, and I won't lie to you, it is, but one of the great things that I have to share this year is that we are working with a new technology partner that is called GiveGab. And GiveGab has an amazing Give Day platform that is super efficient. There's a lot of benefits and value adds this year for organizations. It's very intuitive, and it comes with all sorts of training and resource materials that will really literally give you pretty much all of the tools that you will need to have a successful Give Day campaign. So we're going to walk through that a little bit. One thing I definitely want to point out to all of you is this little chat bubble, this blue chat bubble down here in the lower right-hand corner at givelocalyork.org. Anytime you have questions, I want to go ahead and direct you here. This will put you in touch with our GiveGab customer service team. We have an amazing team of folks who are working with us through the Give Day platform, and they'll be with us on Give Day. So as you have questions, once it comes time to register, to set up your profile, to add any matches or any peer-to-peer fundraisers, any of those questions, GiveGab will be able to help you with that. So I want to make sure you know that that's going to be your first place to go to, as opposed to emailing me. You're going to click on that little blue chat bubble, and they're going to be able to get you squared away. So very important right there to go with your questions. So what the heck is Give Local York? So Give Local York is essentially a 24-hour giving spree. It is a day of celebration for nonprofits. It's a day for all of us to raise funds together. It is a 24-hour primarily online giving spree. It starts right at midnight, right at 12 a.m., and this year it is on Friday, May the 3rd. So it starts at 12 a.m. and it runs until 11:59 p.m. on May 3rd. So we get it all done in 24 hours. This is a day for you to reach new donors, to engage donors and supporters that you already have, and to introduce yourselves to York County. And last year was our first ever Give Local York. We had it on May 4th, 2018. We had 211 nonprofits participating, and we raised just under $1.5 million in those 24 hours. The average amount raised by those organizations was just under $6,000. And on average, about 50% of the gifts that came in that day were from brand new donors. So this was a really great opportunity for the nonprofits that participated last year to raise some money, to meet some new donors, to make some new friends, and to really get their name out there in York County. So Give Local York, at the heart of it, is it's a giving spree that takes place over a period of 24 hours on May 3rd, 2019. Give Local York is put on by the White Rose Leadership Institute, which is the newly formed nonprofit organization that is the evolution of the York Federal Fellows Alumni Association. The York Federal Fellows is a program that was founded by Mr. Bob Pulo and the York Federal Savings and Loan Foundation through the York County Community Foundation. It is a group of nonprofit leaders from all across York County who had participated in this fellowship program, which has now been in existence for 12 years. So that group decided they wanted to bring a Give Day to York County, did it very successfully, and now that group is going to be evolving into its own organization that is called the White Rose Leadership Institute. So in order to be able to participate in Give Local York, the requirements are pretty easy. Basically, you have to be a 501c3 whose work benefits York County in some way. So even if your organization is not physically located within York County, but you are treating patients from York County or saving animals from York County or benefiting York in some way, you are invited to participate. If your organization does not yet have your official 501c3 status, but you have a relationship with a fiscal sponsor who is a 501c3, you are also eligible to participate. And we can talk about those special cases a little bit more if that applies to anyone here. So we talked about this being an online giving spree. The way that this works on Give Day is that donors will come to givelocalyork.org, and instead of this countdown, what you'll see here is actually the running total of the amount that we are all raising on that day. Every organization who signs up, you'll create your own profile page that you will be able to customize with information about your organization, with videos, with photos, with giving levels and donation amounts. So donors will come to the site on Give Day. They'll be able to make their gift directly to your organization or multiple organizations. And something that's a little bit different this year are the ways to be able to give. So donors can make a credit card donation on Give Day. There is a fee that is associated with that. So the total is a 5.2% plus 30-cent fee for per transaction. And the way that those fees are broken down is GiveGab, our technology partner, gets a 3% management fee, and then the other 2.2% plus 30 cents fee goes to Stripe, which is the payment processing institution for that day. So all organizations that sign up to participate in Give Local York will have to create a Stripe account. Stripe is free, and it links directly to your organization's bank account. And what that means, that's new this year for organizations who participated in Give Local last year. But what that means is that the funds that you raise on Give Day will be in your account within 3 business days. So there's a much quicker turnaround for you to receive the funds that you raise on that day because of GiveGab's relationship with Stripe. So donors will be able to make a credit card donation online on Give Day. And then also new this year, online donors can also set up an ACH transfer. So basically like writing a digital check, if you will. They'll be able to enter their routing and account number, and that fee is just a flat 50-cent fee per transaction. So if you have a donor who wants to make a larger gift but does not wish to pay fees associated with it or as high of a fee, you can direct them to that ACH transfer option. I will also add in that we make it the default for donations that day for donors to cover the fees included in their gift so that you, as the organization, are not having to pay any of those fees. Last year, 92% of our donors chose to cover fees, which was huge. And what we ended up doing as an event last year was we had the ability to then cover the other 8%, so that organizations did not pay any fees last year, and they received 100% of all of the donations that were made to them on Give Day. I cannot guarantee that we will be able to cover all of the fees again this year. It's certainly something we would like to do. Again, it will depend on how much of the fees are covered by the online donors that day. But know that it is our intent for you to receive as much of your money as possible. So that's something we would strive to do, to cut down on any fees that organizations themselves are paying. And then I'll talk about offline gifts. So offline gifts are what we would consider any gift that does not come in through the website on Give Day. So check or cash, those gifts are eligible to count towards your Give Day campaign, and the approach for that will be different this year. You as the organization will be entering in your own offline gifts through your back-end portal, through the login that you have. If you participated last year, you know we had sort of a clunky middleman system where we made you submit the information about your offline gift along with a photo to us, which populated a spreadsheet, and then we spent pretty much all day and all of our volunteer hours manually entering those gifts into the system. So we've done away with that system this year, and this year you will be responsible for entering in your own offline gifts. Now that being said, we do have a few caveats. The first one I want to highlight for you is that the White Rose Leadership Institute, Give Local York, reserves the right to audit any submitted gift. So we will be monitoring offline gifts as they're coming in, and if we feel the need for whatever reason to give you a call and ask you about a certain gift, we may be doing that. And then to further clarify, those offline gifts, those checks or cash that come to you, they stay with you. So you do not have to hand them over to us in any way. They are also not assessed a fee because they do not pass through the system. But because you enter the information in through your portal, the digital amount of that offline gift does count towards your Give Day total, and also counts towards what you receive from the stretch pool, and I'll get to the stretch pool in a moment. So I know we had some questions last year when it came to offline gifts and what was okay and what was not okay, and so I wanted to clarify that just a little bit this year, to let you know that what we have decided and what we say is when it comes to offline gifts, it's really best to use donor intent as your guide. So the key is that your donor means for their gift to count towards your Give Day campaign. So if an offline gift comes to you in advance of May 3rd, that gift can still be eligible as long as it is the donor's intent to support your Give Local York efforts. So they're sending you a check and they're writing Give Local York in the memo line, or they're returning a remittance slip checking, yes, I want this to support Give Local York. So as a further example, it is okay to send an appeal letter in the month of April to solicit both online and offline gifts specifically to support your Give Local York campaign. It is not okay to just receive a regular check in the mail from a donor in March or April and then hang on to that gift and hoard it and then enter it as if it was an offline gift meant for your Give Local York campaign. So I'm going to go ahead here if I can do this, and I'm going to unmute you all for anyone has questions about that offline gift process. Oh, you were there.
She just unmuted everyone.
Okay, so when we submit it, we use.
And people are not listening and are not aware that they all of a sudden.
I'm gonna mute you all again because there was a lot of chatter. And so we will get into questions here at the end. Here we have a chat. Okay. There is a chat option too that you can send questions directly to me, that we can use that option as well. if need be. But I know that that is slightly different from this year. I understand that there will probably be more of those questions coming along throughout the process. We did have a question, is if you can use PayPal donations as an offline gift. So if you have a PayPal option that you are currently soliciting offline gifts for, PayPal does not link up to our GiveGab system technology-wise. So if you are receiving PayPal donations, again with the indication, so if you create a specific campaign using your PayPal for people to support you for your Give Day efforts, then you could enter those as offline gifts for your Give Local York campaign, because again, offline gifts are really just money in name only. They don't, pass through the system, so it's not as if you'd be double dipping because it's only coming in through your PayPal. But because the Give Local York system, the GiveGab system, is sort of what you're going to want to be promoting, you're going to want to be sending that link out to your donors. To clarify your messaging, I would recommend just sending people directly to your Give Local York page, as opposed to sending them to your PayPal page, to avoid any donor confusion. So if that makes sense. I have another question here about national nonprofits and options to receive a check from GiveGab. What I'm gonna have you do is go ahead and you can ask that question in that blue bubble chat on the Give Local York page, because GiveGab will be able to work you through that in a separate fashion. So that's a question that goes directly to GiveGab when it comes to anything custom that you need, if you can't have funds transmitted directly to your bank account. Okay. So seems like we're okay for offline gifts for the moment, but again, it's going to come down to donor intent is key. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and just know that we'll be able to answer those questions throughout this entire process. So let's talk a bit about the stretch pool. So the stretch pool is really the big incentive, the financial incentive for organizations' participation, but also for donors to give on Give Day. Because of the stretch pool, giving goes further on Give Day, because any gift that comes into your Give Local York campaign will be stretched by this pool of funds. Now, I want to clarify that it's not a one-to-one match, but the way that the stretch pool works is that it is a percentage distribution. So, for example, at the end of the day, we hit our grand total. Our goal this year is $3 million. So we hit that $3 million grand total. Whatever percentage of that grand total your organization was responsible for bringing in, that is the percentage of the stretch pool that you will receive on top of the funds that came in from donors that day. So as a further example, last year, 2018, our stretch pool amount was $100,000. So if you had raised, say, $5,000, that was 5% of the grand total that we raised. So you would have gotten an extra $5,000, a 5% of that $100,000 stretch pool amount. So whatever percentage of the grand total you raise, that is the percentage of the stretch pool that you get added on top of that. Our goal this year for the Give Local York stretch pool is at least $250,000. So we are looking to grow that stretch pool amount, which will then therefore also translate to more stretch pool dollars passed on to you. Now, one big thing that is different this year, so those of you who participated with us last year, make sure you're paying attention. The advisory committee has decided to make this change to the stretch pool this year. So in order to prevent substantial donations from skewing the allocation of stretch pool funds, only the first $10,000 of any one gift from one donor will count towards what you receive from the stretch pool. So what that means is if you receive a $100,000 gift, which would be amazing, that $100,000 of course counts towards your grand total and the funds that you're raising that day, but only the first 10,000 of it will be applied to what you will receive from the stretch pool. And that is just being done in order to even the playing field a little bit and allow for more organizations to benefit from the stretch pool distribution. So again, only the first $10,000 of any one gift from one donor will count towards what you're getting from the stretch pool. And that again only applies to gifts that are larger than $10,000. This is also then where that disclaimer that we have the right to audit any offline gifts could come in, because last year what we saw was most of our larger gifts that organizations were receiving were coming in as offline gifts because that was a way for donors obviously to avoid large fees for large funds. So what we want to make sure is not happening is that a $100,000 donation is not being entered 10 times as 10 $10,000 gifts. So that's where that right to audit gifts will come in handy. But offline gifts do count towards your stretch pool distribution, but only the first $10,000 of any one gift will count towards what you get from the stretch pool. So just know that giving goes further on Give Day, and that is because you have this percentage match amount, extra dollars that will be coming your way thanks to the stretch pool. The other option, the other opportunity for extra money coming your way on Give Day are through the prizes. And so we set up through sponsors special prizes throughout the day. Those can be specific hours where you receive prizes based on the number of donors you receive. Those can be more random golden ticket type prizes. We do have a special prize that we have received thanks to our sponsor Health South. That's an early registration prize, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. The prizes, the prize list will be revealed in April so that you'll have an idea of all the opportunities that you'll have to raise extra dollars. But just know that there are those opportunities to get some cash bonuses throughout the day to incentivize donors to help with your strategy. And I'll share that our goal this year for prizes is $20,000 in prizes. Last year we had $10,000 in prizes, so we're shooting for at least $20,000 that we'll be distributing through the Give Local York prizes this year. So we've talked about how donations work on Give Day, credit card, ACH, offline gifts. What's this about stretch pool and prizes? And then now let's talk a little bit about business matches. So this was an option last year, but I'll be frank that I didn't truly understand how this could work. And so I don't think I did a great job of explaining it. But the way a business match works is you have the opportunity, if you have partnering businesses or sponsors who already have a relationship with you and support your organization, you can approach them to be a business match sponsor for you for Give Day. And what that means, for example, is a business would give you a $5,000 gift, and you can use that as a match so that as gifts come into you on Give Day, they are matched because of that sponsor's gift. So that's a great way, if you know that you already have a relationship with donors who are giving to you throughout the year, you can encourage them to make their gift a business match for your Give Day campaign. So you're not only receiving that gift, that large gift towards your campaign, but it's also incentivizing new donors to give because they see that their gift will go even further thanks to that donor match. And the way that that will work is there will actually be on your profile page a little badge or button that says, hey, we have this business match thanks to X sponsor. and it will show the amount of the match. As a gift is made, the system itself will automatically make those digital transactions for you. So it will pull out of the match and add to your total automatically. So it will be able to show you and your donors how much is left to the match. You know, we only have to get $100 more and we've closed out this match. So you have the opportunity to set those matches up through your profile. You will be asked when you register if you have a match set up now. If you do, that's awesome. But if you don't worry, because you have between now and Give Day to find those matches. You can have more than one match, and you can even get as complicated as setting up your own sponsored hours and match hours through your matching gifts. And again, if you get into that situation, that would be where this handy little chat bubble comes into play, and GiveGab can walk you through how you're gonna set those up. And I will also show you what the back end of a profile page looks like and how you're gonna walk through that. But that to say, business matches are a way to take advantage of relationships that you already have in place with potential sponsors to help your giving go further for your Give Local York campaign. So that's business matches. So new this year, thanks to the GiveGab platform, we have some really great new opportunities to take advantage of the day itself, to put this Give Day to work for us beyond just raising funds, although of course we all want to raise funds. So what you're looking at right now is what your dashboard will look like once you set up your organization's profile page. And as you can see, it really is, it breaks it down, it walks you through what you need to do. So you can see, I've already gone through, I've added my organization's info, I've added my story, I've gotten verified, which means that I entered in our bank account information for Stripe. And once you complete those things, you'll get a handy little check mark here so you know what you've done. And then you can see these are the things that I still need to do. And once I complete those things, it will check it off for me. So it really walks you through the process. So two of the new things this year that we have added into our Give Day program is the ability to not only accept financial gifts on Give Day, but the ability also to sign up volunteers for your organization. And I'll share with all of you that I have spent the last 5 months meeting one-on-one with as many York County nonprofits as possible. I think I've visited with about 50 of you at this point, just getting to know you and what resources you have to work with and what some of your struggles are. And what I've learned is, of course, we all need money, we all need funding, but a lot of us also really rely on volunteers, and we really need that support. So we thought that this would be a good way to use Give Local York to further engage the community and to build those relationships. So in addition to accepting financial gifts on Give Day, you will also be able to sign up new volunteers to help your organization. And you can make those volunteers are not just for Give Day itself. Those are year-long volunteers. So in your dashboard, you'll have the opportunity to set up all of the volunteers that you're looking for. So you can create these opportunities and you can say, I'm looking for stall muckers because I visited with Leg Up Farm yesterday. So you can put that information in, you can share whether it's an ongoing opportunity, if you have an upcoming event and you need volunteers for a one-day event or within a time range, you'll be able to fill out all of this information to solicit volunteers. So then when donors come to your page on Give Day, they'll have the opportunity to both make a financial gift and they can sign up to volunteer for you, and we'll be able to track that. So at the end of the day, we'll say we raised $3 million in York County and now we have 1,000 new volunteers. So just another way that we're able to use this Give Day platform to really serve the needs that you as our nonprofit organizations have. If you do not have a volunteer management system for your organization, you can actually use the GiveGab platform for that, to actually log hours and to track that. Or you can simply just collect the sign-up information and use those contacts moving forward. But so adding in this volunteer piece was something that we thought was just an added benefit to our Give Day this year. So that is something new for 2019. And the other really cool thing that will help us reach our goal this year is the addition of peer-to-peer fundraising. So peer-to-peer fundraising, if you've ever participated in a walk a mile in her shoes, March of Dimes, what this is you have the ability to engage what are called fundraising champions. And fundraising champions can be your board members, your volunteer, your staff, and advocates that you have. And what they can do is you can create profile pages for them, or they can create their own profile pages. So it creates a custom profile page for them that's branded to your organization with a custom link that says, hey, I really care about this organization, because it gives them the opportunity to tell their story about why they care about your organization. And really it puts those folks to work for you to get out there fundraising on your behalf for your Give Local York campaign. And then you have the ability to actually track those gifts. So as you are following along on Give Day and seeing your donations come in, you can see those gifts as they're coming in from your fundraising champions. So you can say, oh, this board member has brought us $1,000, and or you're able to follow along with that. So this is a great opportunity. I know a lot of organizations are looking for ways to put their boards to work. So making them a fundraising champion is a really good way to do that. Another note I'll add about fundraising champions and what they're able to do is this is actually also a good opportunity. If you have different programs underneath your organization, different chapters, different initiatives, you can actually create fundraising champion pages for those programs or initiatives so that they have their own sort of custom link that they can share with their own audience to go ahead and fundraise on behalf of the organization, but having it be tailored a little bit more to that specific program. So just for example, I'm going to throw this out there. Say for the Girl Scouts, for example, they could encourage their various troops to create their own fundraising champion pages. So you could have individual troop champion pages. They're all out there ultimately raising funds for your organization, but because they have specific audiences or specific folks that they would be reaching out to with their message, it's just a way to sort of tailor that a bit more. Another example, I know we had talked about, and Heather, I'm not sure if you're logged on here, but the YWCA, for example, has a lot of different programs underneath their umbrella. So this would be an option. They could create a camp fundraising champion page, or a Girls on the Run fundraising champion page that group can use to send out to their audiences to fundraise on behalf of the YWCA at large, if that makes sense. And I see a chat question coming through. Are the champions able to raise money via their page prior to May 3rd, or does all of the money need to come in through the page on May 3rd? So all of the online giving takes place on May 3rd only. You'll of course be able to send out your links and start promoting in advance of May 3rd, but the actual action, the actual gifts are made online on May 3rd, to answer that question. And it's very easy also here through this intuitive system to set up your fundraisers, your fundraising champions. So adding fundraisers here, you can download a CSV file. If you're going to be entering a whole lot in, it will give you the template that you need. So you can enter them in manually and set a goal for them. I will share also that through the main Give Local York page, we have, or main Give Local York site, we do have a Get Involved page that encourages people to sign up as fundraising champions on their own. So you might even have unsolicited folks who just really care about your organization and want to sign up to fundraise for you without you having to volunteer them to do it. So engaging your fundraising champions will be a great way to help make your message go viral, essentially, and put other folks to work for you so that they're out there spreading the message on your behalf. So the peer-to-peer aspect and the volunteer sign up, those are two new things this year for 2019 that we're very excited about and we think will be really helpful to helping us meet our various goals. Speaking of goals, what I always like to tell people is that what you put into this event is what you are going to get out of this event. And it's important as your organization embarks on diving into Give Local York and your strategy to really come up with what your goal is for the day. And that can be a financial goal that can say, you know, we're shooting to raise $10,000 on this day. It can be a goal of a certain number of new donors. It can be a goal of a certain number of new volunteers because of that new piece. It can also just be a goal of general awareness and wanting to get your name out there. Say you're a new organization or you're finding that you're having trouble with name recognition in York County. So it's important to sit down and really think through and strategize what it is you want to get out of this day. What I like to say is we provide the platform and we provide the promotion, but what you get out of this day is what you put into it. Every organization is ultimately responsible for their own hustle. While we are all doing this together, and this is a one York County event, and we're going for this larger impact, those large numbers, what your organization gets out of it is what you're going to put into it. Now, the good news is that we give you all of the resources that you need to be successful. And it is all available here in the Nonprofit Toolkit and in the nonprofit trainings. So I wanna take a minute to just walk you through this. I'll skip over the registration for now because we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. But there are various online training sessions. There's a getting started guide. There are helpful articles for support. There's a planning guide, there's a communications timeline that will literally break it down for you and say, here's what you need to be doing this week, here's what you need to be doing this week, and walk you through the steps it takes to have a successful Give Day campaign. There is this ebook, this guide to giving success, how to engage with your board, how to put peer-to-peer fundraisers to work. We have email marketing templates that you can use with the language that you need. We have graphics that you can use at your disposal for social media, for your website, for your email marketing. We have tips on social media. So all of these pieces are available to you. I'll also show you the trainings. So in addition to webinars like these, the info session webinar, GiveGab, our GiveGab team will actually be hosting some webinars for us. Well, they'll be walking us through getting ready and getting started, a special webinar on peer-to-peer fundraisers and getting those matching funds from businesses, and then the final steps, which will be really important to log into as we get closer to Give Day. But they also have a 300 series of training videos that are super duper helpful. So it's everything from, you know, getting ready and Give Day basics all the way through how to tell your story, how to thank your donors, how to set goals for yourself, the power of peer-to-peer fundraising, social media, scheduling communications, how to take great photos, engaging your board, retaining new donors once you have all these new donors, how to gamify Give Day, building better relationships, what happens after Give Day. So again, all of these resources are here. They are here for you. And we really want you to use them because these really are your best practices, and these really are just this is the key to success right here. I know from meeting with a lot of you that, you know, in some cases, our human resources are low. So you might be a team of 1, you might be a team of 2 or 3, and so it can seem overwhelming. And I totally get that. I'll share that, you know, I'm a staff of 1 here, and I have some really great volunteers and committees, but I feel you. So if it's possible for you to create a committee, and whether that's from your board or volunteers or friends, to get people to help you with this, it can be done, and we give you all the tools that you need to do it. I understand it's you know, making the time and setting that time aside to be able to dig in. Now, as an incentive to really engage with this toolkit and the trainings, I'm going to be a little cryptic, but I'm going to share that we do have some special prizes for what are being called our Give Local York All-Stars. So thanks to People's Bank and the York Revolution, the York Revolution is hosting the All-Star Game next summer on July 10th. And People's Bank and the York Revolution have teamed up for some pretty significant prizes that they would like to award to Give Local York All-Stars. And those prizes will count towards your Give Day campaign. They will be awarded at the actual All-Star Game in July. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, of course, as we get further into our planning. But just as a heads up, what we'll be looking for, what the advisory committee, the prize selection committee will be looking for when it comes to All-Stars is organizations that are really following the best practices to creating their Give Day campaigns. So just going to put that out there as a little teaser and as a little bit of incentive to know that you will be rewarded for your efforts if you really take advantage of all of the resources that we have here for you. Just as an additional note here, as I'm looking at the Give Local York graphics, last year we had a really great relationship with Anstat Communications, who created some marketing materials for us that were branded to Give Local York, but were customizable for you as your organization so that you were also able to upload with your logo and brand. And those were marketing material pieces that you were able to purchase to promote your campaign. So things like lawn signs and banners and sandwich board signs. We do have that relationship with Anstat again, and you will receive more information on that probably as we get into early 2019. I'll share that our approach to promoting Give Local York really is sort of a slow burn, because the action that donors can take really is only, you know, on Give Day itself. March and April is when we'll really start to ramp up our promotions and start really pushing people towards Give Day. So we'll have some more information when it comes specific to marketing and sharing your story as we get a little bit further into 2019. But just know that that relationship with Anstat Communications exists again, and you will have the opportunity to purchase those branded materials if you'd like for your organization again this year. So what do I get out of this? Or what do you get out of this, really, is the question. Well, first I'll say, you know, why are we doing this? And why did the York Federal Fellows Alumni Association, now the White Rose Leadership Institute, want to bring this Give Day to York County? So we see this as a day to really shine a spotlight on all of the nonprofits who are doing such amazing work here in York County. So we see this as a day to celebrate and say thank you to all of you for the work that you're doing. Give Local is really meant to be a holiday, a day of fun and engagement and celebration. We specifically picked the first Friday in May as our date. It will always be the first Friday in May. That is to build on the energy and excitement that already takes place in downtown York during First Friday in the evening. We sort of take over for the night, and nonprofits are invited to take over the streets and come out and celebrate in downtown York. But we are also working to replicate that energy and excitement in all of the towns across York County. I'll share that last year, Hanover and Dillsburg and Delta organizations in those communities did really amazing jobs of working together and planning their own Give Day parties and activities to really spread that fun and excitement to those corners of the county. And we'll talk a little bit more about Give Day events and activities and all of those things as we get closer to really diving in. Today really is more about sort of the nuts and bolts, so I don't want to bog anyone down with talking about activities, but just to say that this is a day of celebration. It's meant to be fun. We're doing this to support the operating needs of your organizations. These are unrestricted funds, and we know that those are often difficult to get. So, so we want this opportunity for you to really be able to raise funds to use it for what you need it for. We're doing this to grow the base of engaged donors, to bring new donors into philanthropic giving. And as I shared last year, 50% of the gifts that came in that day were from brand new donors, which is huge. And we're always trying to reach new folks. And then also, you know, we do this so that we can track charitable trends in our community, so we can see where folks are giving and what does our community think is vital. Where are they sort of voting with their dollars about areas that are important to them? So that's why we're doing it. Why should you consider doing it? This is a really great opportunity to raise awareness about your organization. This is a great way to not only engage your existing donors, but of course, reach new ones. You are able to enhance every dollar that you raise this day with those bonus funds, those stretch funds, and those prizes. This is a great way to expand your online and social media presence and your fundraising success. Learning and deploying all those new marketing strategies because of these tools and resources that we're providing for you. This is a really great way to engage your staff and your board and your supporters. And we've heard from a lot of organizations about how much working on their Give Day campaign, you know, really brought their staff together. It was a real morale booster and a team building exercise. So this is a way, you know, to really do that. This is also a really great opportunity to engage and collaborate with other nonprofits in our community. And we heard last year the benefit that so many organizations found just from getting in the room together and being able to talk to each other and bounce ideas off of each other. So we're all plugging into this community of all of us who are working in this social impact sector. You know, we're doers, we're givers, we're a good group. And then finally, it really is fun. One of the things I kept hearing last year from people is they didn't realize how fun it was going to be. I mean, it is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a long day, but your adrenaline is pumping, and watching those gifts come in real time is addictive. And donors had a lot of fun with it too, community members. It's a really great fun day for York County, and I feel like that's something we deserve. So if that sounds good to you, then it will be time for you to register. So registration is going to open this Monday, December 3rd at 10 a.m. You will then, you'll come to givelocalyork.org, and instead of this registration opening soon button, you will see click to register. And you will go through some questions about your organization. We are going to be asking some questions this year to help segment or categorize our organizations a little bit more. So you'll be asked about your operating budget. You'll be asked about your number of employees, so that we'll be able to see sort of what small organizations we have, what large organizations we have, and those may come into play when it comes time to distributing prizes later, and those sort of things. So general questions about your organization, you will set up your Stripe account if you haven't already, and get that all linked up. At that time, you will also submit your registration fee. There is a $150 registration fee to participate in Give Local York, and I will share that that fee exists really to be able to put this event on. So in other communities, most of their giving days are put on by their community foundations or other large organizations who are footing the bill. And here, Give Local York is pretty much a grassroots event. So those registration fees really are instrumental to being able to pay not only for the GiveGab platform, but the promotion and all that goes into this event. So that fee supports the efforts of pulling this event together. Now I will share that if that $150 fee is a true obstacle or barrier to any organization being able to participate, that we do have some opportunity for scholarships. And if that's something that you think you might be eligible for or be interested in, I encourage you to reach out to me so that we can talk through that process. So registration will open on Monday, like I said, at 10 a.m. I have a question of, will the questions be available before registration? So I can go ahead and I will send those registration questions out to those of you who are in attendance today so that you can see what we'll be asking you. But just note that registration will be open through April 1st. We obviously encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later because you want to start planning and strategizing. But April 1st will be the absolute drop dead deadline to register, and to incentivize you to sign up early. If you register before January 18th, or all organizations who complete their registration by the end of the day on January 18th, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a special early bird registration prize, which will be awarded on Give Day. And that is thanks to our sponsor, HealthSouth Rehabilitation Hospital. So that really is the next step is to get yourself registered once that opens on Monday. I'll also share that we are hosting a press conference on Monday morning at 10 a.m. So that we can announce to the world that Give Local is back, that our goal this year is hopefully to have at least 300 organizations participating, raising $3 million collectively for our community. And we'll be announcing the sponsors that we have on board, and also announcing then that registration is now open. So Monday is sort of the day when we open the floodgates and we get this all started. But everything that you need to be successful and to get started making your plan is really here in this nonprofit toolkit, in these trainings. And again, if you have specific questions, especially as you're going through the registration process, I will direct you here to this handy dandy chat bubble on givelocalyork.org. So those were the topics that I was hoping to cover today. What I'd like to do now, I think, rather than unmuting everybody and having all the chatter, is if you have specific questions, to take advantage of the chat feature that you should be seeing on your screen, to send those questions to me, and I'll answer them as they come in. And otherwise, I will say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for considering being a part of this year. It really was an amazing day. I was so proud of all of the organizations that participated, particularly last year. You know, being the first year, it was a learning curve for all of us. And I think I said many times, you know, we needed to just pull it off. We needed to show the community that we could do this. And then we could go into our second year taking what we learned from the first time around to really refine it and grow it and make it even bigger and better. So the general theme this year for Give Local York is bigger and better. And we have a lot of supports in place. We have a lot of really great sponsors and partners who are reaching out to us who want to be a part of it. The community is very excited about it. So I think we are in a great position to exceed our new goal this year and to really create a fun and engaging and exciting day for all of York County and specifically our nonprofit community. So if you have questions, feel free to throw them my way in this chat. And otherwise, I will say thank you so much for joining us. I have been recording this session today, so the video will be posted afterwards. You'll be able to revisit, or if you know of any friends who were not able to join us today, but you know that they might be interested in participating in Give Local, you can direct them to this info session, and we'll be hosting a few more of these as we open up registration and get started. So again, if you have any chat questions, send them my way. Otherwise, thank you all so much. I'm really excited to be working with this year with you, and I can't wait to get started. So thank you. Okay. I want to say thank you to everyone who's been thanking me. It doesn't look like any questions are coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Thank you all so much. Again, if you have questions, direct them to that chat bubble, and hopefully we'll see a bunch of you logging in and registering with us on Monday morning. So thanks again. Have a great weekend.